Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee, joined by Big Game James Worthy. Allie Clifton, Brez will join us in a little bit. Mike Trudell will be working the post-game locker room. The Lakers get handled by the Raptors, who are a lottery team just like the Sacramento Kings. I mean, they came into this matchup 12th in the East, 12 games under 500. They were playing on the second night of a back-to-back. A couple things, guys, that just pop up. 72 points in the first half. Second most all year that the Lakers have given up. To get out rebounded by the Raptors. This is a tough one, Big Game James.
Yeah, I mean, Sacramento game was tough enough, and then you have Toronto coming in here on their back-to-back game. Lakers a little bit rested, and their defense is just not in sync. I mean, I don't know what happened for the best defensive team in the league to allow teams to just come in and score at will. Just not in sync. The ball is not moving like it once did, and there's just no resistance. There's just nobody putting up a fight, it didn't seem like. You know, a lot of layups, a lot of second chance points. I mean, that right there is just a basic give and go, and I'm not sure what's going on. There's some kind of virus going on with the defense right now, and it has affected the entire energy of the team. So, yeah, they got some work to do. I mean, right now they're looking at a very bleak playoff possibility. Now, I know they can turn things around, and we know they're good enough, but right now they're just not showing that they have what it takes to beat Sacramento and Toronto.
2 of 7 in their last 9, Allie. Losers of 6 of 7.
I mean, you mentioned Toronto coming in as a lottery team, far outside of the playoff picture, and Kyle Lowry, they had the best player on the floor tonight. You know, you got to sometimes give credit where credit is due, and Kyle Lowry played vintage Kyle Lowry. You would have thought that he was the leader of all scorers. He wasn't. Siakam was. But the way in which he led and impacted the game, Lakers just simply didn't have an answer for him, and it came on the defensive end of the floor. And I think as much as we talk about the expectations and the urgency and that meeting the time in which we're in right now down this stretch to be ready for the playoffs and have an opportunity to avoid the play-in situation, whether it was being outworked, the energy, it just simply wasn't there consistently enough.
You know, Brez and I in the third quarter, I was talking to him. There's 3 minutes and 13 seconds left in the third, and I gave him a stat because I was looking at the box score and the play-by-play, and I was trying to figure it out. And I looked, and I'm like, okay, the Lakers were up 27-15 with 4 minutes and 4 seconds left in the first quarter. With 3 minutes and 13 seconds left in the third, they had gotten outscored by 30 points. The Raptors were leading that time period 62-32.
Yeah, it's almost if they got hypnotized and they're just walking around like zombies. And meanwhile, I mean, you said it. I mean, Lowry, I mean, he had an attitude tonight. Like Drummond knocked him down and was trying to help him up, but he wouldn't even receive that. That is leadership. And that's, you know, that's toughness. They're not going anywhere, but they're still playing against the defending champions, and they want to kick their butts, and they did. Siakam, you know, was the other player. You said it, Geeter, 70-something points at halftime?
72. I mean, Allie, James.
That's unacceptable.
Listen, you look at these numbers right here. These are season highs for Siakam and Kyle Lowry. Siakam over his, last 3 games was only averaging 12 points per game. His last 3 he had been struggling. He goes for a season high 39. Lowry goes for a season high 37. They have 12 3-pointers between them. Lowry with 8, Siakam with 4.
Look, I look at this right here, and I know because it's our jobs and we're supposed to analyze and we're supposed to call it like we see it, but I'm still confident that these two will figure this out. They know, they have a pulse, they've been there, they understand that things are not right. And the thing that I love is you will hear them say, we've got to get back to it. We've got to look ourselves in the mirror and get back to it on the defensive end of the floor. James, you said it. Over the last 8 games, they are 22nd in the NBA in defensive rating. This is a team that remained at the top, even without their 2 stars. But the key now is without practice time, you're going to have to do it on the fly. Those film sessions matter just a little bit more because if they're going to turn it around, you said it at halftime. If their defense isn't locked in, their offense won't connect either. It won't click.
And Allie, to be honest with you, I mean, we've talked a lot about it on this show. The reason why you want to stay out of that 7th spot so much is because you do want that week of practice
time.
We can actually prepare for an opponent in a playoff series.
You know, they needed more than anybody. I mean, they are the defending champions. They've been without some star players. They've included another big-time player that they trying to implement. So practice time is important. But meanwhile, you got to take care of business, on the fly. And they know how to do that. That's just defense, playing hard, forgetting about the offense, letting the defense dictate your work. And I just think Toronto picked them apart, getting, high percentage shots, second shots. Fast break options. It was, unaccustomed to what we're seeing the Lakers play. It just looked like they just kind of were in a trance and hypnotized for a second. I know they're bringing back LeBron and AD, and that changes the way they've been playing. But still, it just looked like they just didn't have their defensive caps on.
When we all got to work, a little wind out of the sails when you heard about Dennis Schroeder. Everyone excited about how he's been playing lately and how he was kind of holding the fort down, at least to the best of his abilities, and had some great games without LeBron and AD. He's out, health and safety protocols. We don't know how long. And then LeBron with 6:42 left, James, in this game. Timeout, subbed out, went into the locker room, and Lakers PR came back with a sore right ankle, which is the right ankle that he suffered the high ankle sprain back in March against Atlanta. So obviously,
look, he looked good in the last game, looked good this game. But, it's something that they have to monitor, him coming back off of that ankle injury. A high ankle injury doesn't heal exactly like a twist or a turn of the lower ankle. Sometimes that tenderness and that pain can come back a little bit. And I hope that's all it is. He can get some treatment and be ready next game.
And it's going to be key because, as we talked about, the schedule is not easy. It's not on their side in terms of all the back-to-backs over these final 9, now 8.
Just their next 3 is Denver, Clippers, Portland.
Maybe they need to play
Yeah, maybe you're right.
a 500-plus team to get them excited. But I wouldn't wait on that because Jokic is coming to town, and they're playing almost better without Murray. I mean, they're still continuing to do what they.
Yeah, they're 9-1 without Murray.
They're playing very well. So
it's impressive.
Maybe to wake them up.
Yeah, it's impressive what they've been doing. I think people feel like when you get into that 7-game series, that loss of Murray is really going to rear its head. But you have to give Denver so much credit for what they've been able to do with their star point guard going down. AD, I want to talk AD. 5 of 16, 12 points tonight, James. 9 rebounds, 7 assists, a few steals. Still trying to get back into his rhythm.
Doesn't look like he's all the way back. I mean, we love the fact that he's moving well and he's able to defend and block shots, but I don't think his offense is all the way there. Short on shots, not as aggressive tonight as we've seen him in the last couple of games. So, yeah, and sometimes that happens. You play the first game coming back, second game, then the third game, reality kind of sits in and kind of really tells you where you are. And I think he figured that out tonight. He's got to go forward, play some defense. I think the defense is where they got to get back. If they just start
1,000%.
Just start playing defense the way they can. I know they're missing Schroeder, and I know Caruso's been out, but they got to get back to that style of play if they're going to succeed.
Yeah, Lakers are just 1-5 with AD in the last 6 games.
Which is tough, the stat, but you also think of what they were trying to accomplish.
Sure.
During that time of him returning, and then right after that, LeBron returns, and then you've got Drummond still trying to find his way.
Yeah.
And I just think they preach a lot about defending and wanting to get out in transition, playing fast, getting the easy looks, the easy opportunities.
Go ahead.
You got it.
No, I keep going back in my mind to when LeBron and AD were out and they were losing a lot of games. We always said, but the defense is still there.
Yes.
They're hustling. Just seems lately you get outworked and you're losing those 50-50 balls, points in the paint, all that, Hallie. It's just
that's where the energy and effort comes in.
Yeah.
Because when the communication's not there, when you're not on the same page, when you don't know your schemes just yet as a team, that effort has to be there. Winning plays.
It's almost as if they're in training camp mode. Got some players in. We got to figure out, what's going on and how to play together. It seems like that's where they are, but they need to figure it out quickly.
We're not panicking though.
A little bit.
But we got to break down the games, game by game.
It's our job.
Right?